Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on my channel, we are all about real makeup for real life and real people. If you are new here, a very special welcome to you. I hope you will consider subscribing if you like what you see today. It's free, it's easy, and it helps you find my videos more easily Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday when I upload. And allegedly, if you ring that notification bell to all, YouTube will let you know when that happens. I know I do have some new subscribers here. I've had a little jump ever closer to that 1K, so really and truly, welcome to you if you're new here, and welcome if you've been here before. So today is 3 looks and a review with the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This is absolutely beautiful. This is not new. I've had it for a while, but with my move into my new home and all of that, I hadn't gotten a review out. I kind of considered not doing a review since this palette has been out for a while, but I decided against that. I want to share with you 3 very simple looks that you can create with this palette and why I think that this palette is not only glam, but great for every day. So if that sounds good to you, we better get into it. Guys, welcome to the first look. I think we're going to keep these looks relatively simple because why not? I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade right here, which is the 4th shade in the palette, and it's labeled Crease. I'm going to fluff this in my transition area, and this is definitely a nice cool tone way to start off a look with this palette. All right, next I'm going to take this shade right here, which is the 2nd shade in the palette, and it is labeled Outer Eyelid, and apply this with a little flat shadow brush. I'm going to try and keep this pretty diffused because I'm going for a lighter look today. I'm not going for anything smoky. I think it's interesting that this shade definitely looks way deeper in the palette than it does on the eye. I'm going to just take a little bit on my index finger here and pat that on the outer part of the lid just to deepen things up, but I'm not bringing it up into the crease because what little bit I want to allow to come up in the crease is already there. All right, and then just to blend things out, make sure everything is seamless, I'm gonna mix these 2 shades on the end of the palette here in the first row, so that, or first row, and that would be crease and transition in the first row. And I'm just going to blend along the edges here. And then I'm going to take a pencil brush and pick up those same 2 shades, mixing them together, and just take this on the lower lash line a little bit, just the tiniest bit. Now we're going to go into this first shade in the palette, which is that pinky shade I was telling you about, definitely the inspiration for this look. And I'm going to use this brush that's kind of flat and kind of fluffy at the same time. I call it my teddy bear brush from Beauty Junkies because it is so stinking soft. In case you're wondering, I have no idea why I'm using the palette mirror today. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I need to get up closer. All right, and then lastly, where the pink and the gray shade kind of meet, I'm gonna take a little bit of this inner corner shade, the middle shade in the first row, and use my finger to apply just for a little extra sparkle. And I don't wanna completely cover the gray or the pink. I just want to add a little extra shine, and this is such a pretty shade. I'm going to pop off of here, maybe a little liner, definitely some mascara and a lip, and I will come back to wrap this up in a neat little bow. All right, we are back. This is the final look. What do we think? I like this. I'm a little surprised at kind of how lackluster these shimmers seem. They seem to be adding a little texture to my eyes today, and that's not something I typically experience with Natasha Denona shadows. And I've used this palette actually quite a bit prior to doing this review, so I'm not for sure what that's about. We'll keep an eye on that as we do the next two looks. But I did finish off the eyes today with a brown eyeliner from Wet n Wild Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. Today I used my Holy Grail lip liner in Whirl, and then I went in with the jeez, I'm having a brain day. The Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Sweet Mouth. This is essentially a clear gloss, but it has just a little tiny bit of pink sparkle in it. I like the overall look. I'm just a little perplexed by the shimmers on my eyes today. So that's all for today. Stay tuned because look 2 is coming at you right meow. Here we are, ready for the second look with the Natasha Denona Glam palette. Better late than never, I say. And today I really want to play with this gold down here, and I think I'm going to do a halo eye. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off in the transition and crease with this shade right here, which is labeled Blend. And to me, this is probably one of the warmest shades in the palette, and that's kind of where I'm going with the gold shade today, just to show you a little bit of what we can do to create a warmer look out of this palette that is, you know, predominantly cool tone for sure. Now that I have a little in the transition, I'm going to take this on the outer part of the lid and try and keep this on the outer third to half of the eye, just to deepen things up. And then I'm going to take this little brush, a little flat brush from Real Techniques here, pick this same shade up on the tip of the brush, and just really diffuse this nicely on the lower lash line. I've been going pretty light on the lower lash line lately, even sometimes skipping mascara. I just think it helps keep the eye lifted, help me look a little younger. Okay, and then for the lid, the inner and the outer, specifically part of the lid, I'm going into the second shade in the bottom row, which is labeled Outer Eyelid. And I'm gonna first apply this on the outer third or so of the lid. This is a really beautiful sort of deep brown color, bronzy brown even. And then with what's left on the brush, I'm going to use that on the inner part of the lid. I don't like to go quite as deep on the inner part, even though I do want to indicate depth for the halo. And then I'm going to take whatever's left on the brush and sort of pull that up on the outer part of the crease, and I'm lifting and flicking toward the end of my eyebrow. Next, I am going to apply a little bit of glitter glue on the center part of the eye. I finally found my glitter glue, hallelujah. And I'm going to pick up that gold shade that we talked about, first shade in the last row, and it is labeled Center Eyelid, which is actually what we're going to do with it today. How about that? We're following the rules that don't exist. And how I like to place my halo shape or color is by looking straight on in my mirror and lining up the halo shade with the pupil of my eye. I feel like I want a little bit of pop in that center. And I think for that, we're gonna go into this third shade in the last row, which is also labeled Center Eyelid. And look straight on the mirror, hold the brush like this, and really just put this right against the lash line in the center of the halo. And for whatever reason, just right at the lash line is gonna give that nice pop, that nice shine. So I'm gonna hop off of here and do some mascara and things like that, a little lip, hair, jewelry maybe, and I will come back and show you the completed look. All right, we're back, and this is the completed look. I'm kind of in love with the face overall today. I finished off the eyes with my Milk Kush mascara. Then for lips, I used MAC Soar lip liner, and from my Shop My Stash, I used my Ilia Balmy Gloss in the shade Tahiti. I really like this. I hope you guys like this sort of easy, soft, not super structured halo eye from me, but I just wanted to show you that you can get a somewhat warm look out of this palette from Natasha Denona. That being said, these shades are probably some of the only warmer shades in this palette, so you should know that. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed today's look, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome back for look 3. Today I want to keep it very simple. I'm going to show you a look that I do quite frequently if I'm just trying to get out the door. I tried to keep all of these looks relatively simple because I think that this palette is kind of a great everyday palette if you're into cooler neutral tones. I'm going to start off in the transition with this shade right here that we used in the first look. It's the second to last shade in the first row, and it is labeled Crease. And I'm just going to blow this out in my transition area. I do want to keep this transition pretty light today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and buff this on, blend it really well, and leave it at that. All right, next we are going to use our phalange with the last shade in the palette, and it is labeled Brow Bone. And I'm just going to sort of put this all over the lid, not sort of, I am. Going to apply this with my phalange all over the lid. Now, I'm going to pull out this little pencil brush from Sonia Kashuk, but any pencil brush will do. As long as it comes to somewhat of a tapered point, it's going to work for you. And I'm going to take this shade called Smoke right here and pick that up. And what I'm going to first do is kind of flick this out on the upper lash line, and then just messily line the upper lash line, smoke it out, whatever you want to call it. Staying as close to the lash line as possible. You can go as dark or as light as you like, but either way you're going to get some definition here. And then I'm going to take the same shade, whatever's left on the brush, and take this along the lower lash line. If you have the time and you want a tiny bit more definition, you can go in with what I call a flat definer brush. It's very flat like this, but it is shaped like a square. This is great for lining your lash line anytime. I'm going to pick up that lash line shade, the darkest shade in the palette that I just showed you, and I'm going to go right against the lash line there and just a little bit downstairs. And then I like to take that former brush, the pencil brush, no additional product, and just kind of smoke that out a little bit or blend. Just run your brush over top, because for me, when I'm doing a more simple look, I like to keep things a little bit more soft. And there we go. That is pretty much it. That is how I like to do a quick little look when I'm not talking through it. It takes me very little time, maybe 5 minutes, which is, let's face it, a huge improvement on timing for other makeup looks that are more complicated. So I'm gonna pop off of here and do some mascara and a lip, and I will be right back and we'll talk about my feelings on this palette. All right, we are back, and this is the final look. Very everyday if you ask me. I finished off the eyes with a nude liner in the waterline, and then I used my Milk Kush mascara on the lashes. For lips, I lined, of course, with my MAC lip liner in Whirl, and then in my Shop My Stash, I have this little tiny Pillow Talk lipstick. And for a little gloss all across, I used, also in my Shop My Stash, my NYX Butter Gloss in the shade creme brulee, which sounds really yummy right now. So let's talk about this palette just briefly. You guys have probably seen some other reviews, but for my 2 cents, if I was going to recommend out of all of the Natasha Denona palettes that I own currently, one palette for someone who wants to splurge but wants it to be something they're going to get a lot of use out of, it would be this one, because these are very neutral, everyday kind of shades. These are all either matte or metallic, other than this shade up here, which is one of her Chroma Crystal shades. It's labeled Inner Corner. And this is a really pretty shade. In fact, here, let me just tap a little. And this is just beautiful. It's her Chroma Crystal formula, if you're not familiar with it, is typically more of a topper. I would say that this is one of the more opaque shades, Chroma Crystal shades. See? Lovely. But I love this palette. Honestly, I thought the bronze palette was going to be more of an everyday palette for me, but the mattes fall short in that one for me, and there's quite a few similarities within the lid shades, the metallic shades, if you will. Whereas this one, I feel like the mattes are perfect. So if you're looking for an everyday palette, I do recommend this one. Stay tuned, because my next palette look video with a review is going to be on the beautiful limited edition, because that remains to be seen, limited edition TrioChrome palette from Natasha Denona. That is a full-size palette, which is bigger than this one. I need those TrioChromes in my life. Like, they're not duochromes. They don't have 2 colors in them. They have 3, and I am a sucker for that kind of eyeshadow. I hope you enjoyed today's videos and the looks. Which one was your favorite? I think the Halo Eye, the second look, was my favorite with the gold, but I'm interested to hear from you guys as always. If you did enjoy today's video, I would absolutely appreciate it 100% if you would give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Share this video if you think any of your friends, family, or social media would enjoy this kind of content. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful, glam makeup days. And I will see you in my next video real soon.